like you lost another one.
What's up, guys? Keyshawn Uchiha here, back at you with another part 2 Alternate Universe video. Now, I'm just gonna give y'all right now apologies for not posting over 3 damn months. Yes, I know I have been keeping tab and tracks, and I haven't really been on YouTube like that. I've been regularly going back and forth with my life. My life was a little bit chaotic, but it somewhat got itself together, and I found a new path in life. But I just want to tell y'all guys right now that the reason why I haven't been doing YouTube what ifs is because, not because I lost interest, is because I lost determination, or should I say motivation. And I haven't been having motivation to do what ifs for a while because I really haven't been getting a lot of, well, I'm not 100% blame y'all guys, but support from y'all guys. Like the likes, when I say hit the 20 likes or something like that. Regularly, y'all guys don't hit it, and then I might do a video, and then it's just a whole clusterfuck. But right now, I'm going to get back into YouTube and start doing what if videos. And I just wanted to say that I'm back in YouTube, not 100%, but 90% back in YouTube. So I will be doing videos the best way I can. But what I need from y'all guys is y'all support of liking, subscribing, and also just pretty much have a notification bell so y'all can know when I'm doing videos. And also, please don't hesitate to be honest with me in the comments. Like, just tell me if you want another part and stuff, and I'll immediately put it down so I can do another part to these videos. And also, I am about to do a live stream, broadcast a live stream of Cyberpunk 2077 soon. So after this video, if y'all hop on the live stream, we can talk, and we can talk about what if ideas. Also, see what part videos I can do next, and pretty much that. But enough of me talking. Let's get into the video. What is this video going to be about? Well, this is going to be what if Deku was a Eldar from XCOM, The Enemy Within, or should I just say XCOM 1 or XCOM 2? But really, it's just both. We're just gonna say, because I'm gonna take a lot of characters from both games. But this is going to be what if Deku was a Eldar part 2. Now, if you haven't watched part 1, I recommend watch part 1 so you can understand the story. But pretty much where we last left off was pretty much Deku was talking to a little girl that he just adopted, Junko, which shouts out to the subscriber. I forgot his name, but I will say it in the next part 3, maybe later on in this video. It depends on the situation of if I don't get lost into doing this what if. But thank you for this name. The little girl name is Junko. Pretty much, this is where Deku has pretty much renamed her to Junko, and Junko pretty much saw the future and telling Deku that she pretty much saw him getting harmed by some such villain. And this is where Deku is intrigued because he pretty much knows that she can see the future. This is where Deku does some more testing. Just check how far her ability goes, and her ability is not that long, but it is developing and it's getting longer and longer each second. And pretty much after that, Deku also have modified Bakugo, which Bakugo is one of the first chosen to be one of the first. So yeah, he's pretty much one of the first, or should I say the first chosen? Yeah. And his abilities, his modifications that he got was pretty much advanced eyesight, which he can pretty much get 100% accuracy, advanced jump, where he can jump building real high, and no fall damage, you could say. He also have enhanced lungs, where he can pretty much run for like 20 miles up to 30, 40. Pretty much that's a long run, and he doesn't really. And also, if anyone damage him, he can release a shock with his lungs. His lungs give him a shock where he can release a shock to shock everything around him, you could say. kind of like Miles Morales, you could say. A little bit broken, but I know. um, his heart, he has two hearts. Where if the first heart, if he goes down, or someone, let's say, decide to shoot him down or kill him, his second heart will come in and give him like kind of like a second boost shot, a second life, kind of like an extra one up, you could say. And he has a mind black wave or a mind receiver, which if anyone trying to mind control him or anything, it will receive back to them and pretty much kill them, damage them, or just kill them. Depends on how strong they're trying to mind control him. But pretty much that's Bakugo's somewhat. I mean, some set abilities. Oh, and he has regeneration based on his skin. Yeah, but yeah, that's pretty much it. And for the little girl, she pretty much got different ones. But one is the mind thing where no one can control her, and she can pretty much control someone else. But I'll tell you later about more of that. But let's continue with the new parts right now. So pretty much this is where Deku is heading off the ship and heading into, well, pretty much talking to Junko and saying that he's going to show her to pretty much well, before that, this is where Deku decided to adopt more kids after realizing that he can get more kids and to evolve or to see new quirks and evolve more kids. And he's thinking about having a new set of kids to become super soldiers, maybe heroes. I don't know. It all depends with him, but he's just deciding. This is where pretty much Deku is just going to the adoption center where he originally got the first girl, Junko. And the adoption lady says, "Oh, it's you again, kid. What do you want?" And this is like an old adoption lady who's smoking a cigarette, having like those black shades. You can say she's like Master Roshi, but not as like a pet, like as a like a perv, but more as a, if you don't got the money, like if you don't got the money, I don't give a shit. I'm not gonna listen to you and all that. That's her. That's kind of her. This is where Deku pretty much take out some more money, and he pretty much um looks at, this is where the old lady tells the one of the foster woman to bring out the kids. I mean, to get the kids, and this is where the foster woman, and this foster woman is a nice lady who cares for the kids, but she doesn't have the resources to take care of them like Deku. So this is where she brings them in, and she's pretty much looking at Deku with like a disgust, which Deku is looking at her. And this is where pretty much Deku is saying, "So these are all the kids you got?" Which this is the Olay saying, "Yeah, yeah, this is all my kids I have in this damn house." Which this is where each kid, pronounce themselves. One saying his name is Johnny, one saying his name is Tomoko, Tomoko, and one girl, her name is Daisy. And just for the memes, one kid named himself Sonic. I'm sorry, but one kid is named himself Sonic. Yes, I know. Sonic, out of all the names, you really taking Sonic the Hedgehog name and putting it in the kid? Yes, trust me. Now, now I know what y'all guys thinking. Why would you name this kid Sonic if he doesn't have a Sonic? If he doesn't have a quirk that makes him run fast? He does. All right. Just bear with me. All right, but trust in the process. I'm not that crazy yet, guys. All right, but let's continue. Pretty much, this is where another kid named Sonic and um and one girl named is Sunshine. But her eyes is pretty much covered with sunshades, which Deku is curious about her. And this is where all the kids are pretty much like looking at Deku, and they're a little bit timid, scared, and stuff because Deku has his face covered up. I should probably forgot to tell y'all guys in first, but when he goes to the adoption center, he has a face covered up. Kind of has a robe and a face covered up. He looks like a villain, a scary villain, but really he's not. He's just wearing his Eldar robe to hide his identity. This is where the nurse is pretty much, covering kids, protecting them, saying, "So you want these kids, and what are you going to do with them?" Which this is where Deku pretty much look at the nurse and says, "What is your quirk?" Which she explains that she's a kind of medicine doctor, healing quirk. She has a quirk where she can heal them, also give them medication, but not all medication because her quirk is like kind of limited due to a certain accent. Which this is where Deku says, "All right, I buy everybody. I buy everybody here. I mean, like I buy all the kids. I buy these kids, and I buy this nurse." And the nurse is saying, "You can't just buy me." Which Deku was saying, "I know you care for these kids, but I also know that you want to do more and not being a useless person. So, would you join me and become the next evolution of humans?" Which he raised out his hand, which at first the nurse is hesitant, but she agrees and grabs Deku's hand, which this is where Deku pretty much pays the lady like a good mouse of $2,000. $2,000. That's pretty much a good amount of money, which she pretty much says, all right. The nurse lady pretty much goes with Deku and the kids as well. Now, this is where Deku would take him to the ship, which this is where the little small ship will come down to take him to the big mothership. And this is where the pilot is like the droid, if y'all seen it part one, and also the little aliens on that ship too. At first, the kids are like, well, not freaked out. They're more like saying, "Whoa, what is that?" And amazed. And then this is where the kids are, going with the alien, messing with it, pretty much checking it out, like poking it and stuff. This is where the alien is like kind of going, trying to run to Deku, asking him for help because the kids are like playing with him like a toy, and he doesn't want to be playing like that. So it's pretty much trying to call out for help for Deku, but Deku was like saying nope, like nope, you better play with them. Which the alien's like just like saying, oh. This is where pretty much the nurse gets on the ship as well because she's just as amazing, and they go to the big mothership. Now this is where the kids look out the window, you could say the screen window, and see the big mothership, which they're amazed, and they realize that they're out of space. Now this is where they head to the big mothership, and this is where they sit down. I mean, get out, and the mothership is like big. I'm saying it's like how big I can describe it. It's bigger than like not Earth, but it's quite big. Like it's big enough that it has a garden area, sleeping stations, training area, training area, into development area, into nanomachine area. It's a lot of area spots, but you could say it's the ship is like a city, kind of like that. Think of like Magneto, play like ship. It's like that, but more cooler and more technology. This is where pretty much Deku will show the kids, and all the kids are amazed and looking at the place around, and it looks beautiful. And these are where the aliens are, all marching around looking. And these are where the aliens look at the kids. And the big alien marches to Deku, the big group one, and he's pretty much having an alien rifle, and he pretty much like hit his chest and saying, "Hmm," which Deku says, "At ease, soldier," which the alien does a bow and lifts his head up. This is where he pretty much have the kids, look around, have fun. And Deku tells the aliens to keep an eye on his soldiers or his subjects, to keep an eye on the kids, make sure they don't get hurt, which they listen, and the kids get to go around, have fun, explore, and such of that. This is where Deku has a talk with the nurse, and they are walking. Now, this is where Deku reveals his identity to her, and pretty much is talking and saying that he wants to evolve the human race, the Earth, entirely. Well, those who wants to evolve. That's what he's pretty much saying. Um, but he pretty much saying that he hasn't really had a male, female, male or a human male adult to male or female adult to really experiment on to see how far it can go. Which this is where Deku takes her to like a top where they're looking at the stars, and Deku asks her, "Will she be the first to be the mother of a new life? Well, new life and stuff like the mother of new, like mother of healing and medicine and stuff. Is she willing to take that step to become a new being, not human, not alien, but something new? Is she willing to take that step to protect those she loves and to care?" Which this is where she thinks about it, but she looks at Deku and gives him a nod and says yes. This is where Deku smiles and says, "All right, let's get started." Now, this is where the kids and this is where the kids begins to show their quirks. And with Sonic, his quirk is basically a fast running quirk, but every time he runs correctly fast, he gets he pretty much gets motion sick. He gets motion sick, and his bones are not as strong. So every time he does run, he breaks his legs, which the nurse always has to heal up. With Daisy, she has a quite straight quirk. Her quirk is quite strong as she can lift up things 10 times harder than her, but the drawback is pretty much she gets more hungrier and she gets more dumber. Get more hungrier, dumber. Which, those are some pretty bad side effects, if I say. Um, Johnny, his is pretty much a new quirk where if he if he sees someone once, he can pretty much throw whatever thing at them, and it will always hit them, kind of like bullseye. He can also use it with rifles, weapons as well. But the drawback is um, pretty much his heart begins to slow down and it begins to start killing him. That's that drawback. And with Sunshine, her quirk is basically kind of like a Cyclops. She has laser vision, where she can shoot lasers and stuff. But the only far head back sad part about it is that she can't really control her eyes. She can't really deactivate it. It's kind of permanently like that, so that's why she wears shades, so the lasers don't hit anywhere, you could say. So this is where Deku sees the quirks and sees what the potential is. And this is where he pretty much says, "All right, I think we can, I think we can make y'all better. But I'm asking y'all children," which he takes a knee and he reveals his mask. He pretty much gives his hand out saying, "Are y'all willing to become the next evolution of the chosen?" Which the kids, at first are hesitant, which Deku explains to them that they won't have these side effects of quirks anymore. They will be stronger. They can become heroes or hell become whatever they want to be. As long as they trust him, which this is where the kids all nod and they pretty much grab Deku's hand. Now, this is where pretty much the kids all get in the test tube, including the nurse. And this is where Deku start experimenting with them. Now, since Deku has a ability to create life, he also has another sub quirk, which his quirk is basically if he sees some quirk once of their ability, he pretty much has their ability. So all the way up to this point of seeing, Deku has tons of possibilities of quirks. And I should probably say right now, this is pretty much almost the end of the camping week. Uh, and if you're asking where's Bakugo, Bakugo is pretty much back at home with his mom, pretty much just eating meals, while Deku is pretty much on the ship. This is where pretty much Deku is doing the meditations and modifying them, upgrading them. This is where pretty much Deku Deku is pretty much upgrading them and stuff. With Sunshine, we're going to start first. Sunshine is pretty much the first to be modified. Her pretty much Deku have pretty much replaced her eyes, enhanced them with more better eyes, so she will have better wide range accuracy of far, so she can see very far and shoot very far. But actually no, she has like a wide range of a unique eyes now, so now she can deactivate her laser vision and reactivate them, so she can see without using shades. Also, with the brain, she pretty much enhanced her brain a little bit, unlocking like let's say 15%. So she's I say she's a pretty smart one, not genius level, but pretty smart. And Deku also gave her pretty much gave her enhanced hearing, so she can hear things around her, you could say. But that's pretty much it. Not a lot of modification for kids, you could say. Well, if they can take it, but some of them can't. So that's why I'm saying only a couple of modifications. With Johnny, his modification is he can have perfectly accuracy, like more enhanced accuracy. So now he doesn't even need to like see you. He can just throw it and it will come right at you. Also, he has a um, unique field around him. So now he has like a kind of magnetic field. As if anything's trying to hit him, nothing can really hit him. It would just go past him or curve around him. Except if it's a person running at him, then he he has built in a combat system where he can pretty much combat anyone who comes near him and try to fight him in hand combat. So he got that modification, and also he has a reinforced. Um, let's see. No. Yeah, he has a reinforced skeleton system. So now his reinforced skeleton system is kind of like a. Wait, no, not that. Sorry, guys. But let me take that back. Not reinforced skeleton system. That's for someone else. But pretty much he has a reinforced. Uh, let's see. Reinforced mine. So he has 20% of mine open. But he also was installed with a modification of uh of height jump, and also, yeah, he was with military combat system of mat strategy. So he's a strategy technician. So Johnny can, you know, he when you're having, let's say this, if you're having a war with him and it's like a field to field battle, and like he has soldiers and you have soldiers, you're gonna lose because he's a battlefield tactician. He's a master at it, which that's what Deku gave him, and also his yeah, he basically has 25% unlocked. So he's I can't say I can say he's a genius a little bit, but not too much. Now for Sonic. Now for Sonic, he has reinforced skeletal system. So even when he does run fast, he doesn't really and if you're asking if he has like engines on his legs, no, he doesn't. But he is incredibly fast. So Deku reinforced his skeletal system with titanium. So, and I know what y'all guys thinking with those people who think, but what if the kids start growing? Will the titanium hold him from growing, or will it grow with him? And yes, it will grow with him, because, like I said, Deku is a very intelligent person. So he made the titanium as when the kid grows, the titanium grows too, and it won't cause any discomfort or anything. He won't hear any cracking or anything. It will just, as he grows, the bones will stretch itself out on it, kind of like a stretchiness, kind of like a Luffy thing. As he grows, uh, the skeleton system is gonna grow as well. And also, this is where Deku replaced his muscles with strong fiber muscles, like steel muscles. So if he works out and stuff, his muscle will grow, but it's kind of as steel, so the steel will grow as the steel will get stronger. So as he works out or run or do exercises, he will grow muscles, but also the steel will like strengthen and get stronger. So nothing can really hurt him. And he has 30% of his brain, so well, 45% of his brain unlocked, where he can pretty much think fast like the Flash, you could say. So yeah, so he can do fast and think fast. So yeah, that pretty much made him better. And for I already did Daisy, right? Oh wait, no, Daisy. Deku pretty much took off those negative nerves where she will get more hungry and stuff, and pretty much replaced them with as pretty much he replaced Daisy's uh mind. Well, pretty much fixed her mind where every time she does lift up things or use her strength to enhance her strength and stuff, um, it will kind of make her more intelligent. So he reversed it. So now it makes her more intelligent. So she will be like the Hook in the movie Marvel Avengers Endgame, where you know how the Hook pretty much merged together with Bruce Banner and they became like some intelligent interconnect nerd. where everybody was disappointed. She's kind of like that, but not like as boring, but more as if she gets stronger, she gets more intelligent, and the more she gets, the more she uses her quirk, the more intelligent she gets. So yeah, and also he took away the thing where she gets hungry. So now when she uses her quirk, she doesn't need to constantly eat 24/7. And he pretty much refers modified her skin, so now it's kind of like Deku's, where if she takes damage, she heals. She heals from it, and he pretty much merged the healing with the camouflage. So if she does take a little bit more damage, like too much, she could just go invisible and heal up. Pretty broken, I know, but that's how it is. Now for the nurse. Now I thought of a name for her, and we're gonna kind of just take her name and just name her Nurse Joy from Pokemon. Now she's not gonna actually be looking like Nurse Joy or be Nurse Joy, but her name is Nurse Joy, and yeah, so her name is just Nurse Joy, but she does care for the kids. So and she's gonna pretty much be like a mother figure to them and a guardian, you could say. But the healing, then the healing up just in case if they took too much damage, and also healing for the rest of the aliens as well. This is where Deku pretty much modified her, where he pretty much upgrade her, unlock her potential of her quirk. But before that, he 100% unlocked her brain with her quirk. So pretty much her quirk is unlocked to its fullest potential, as now she can heal people without losing any energy or any exhaustion. She can also can go on and on and on without being any tired because he removed that from her. So now she's like she could just do stuff like 24 hours all day every day without really being tired. He also gave her, like I said, he upgraded her quirk, so now she can just make medicines, unique medicines and stuff. Whatever she thinks of can help out more. And he pretty much gave her a force field, modified her with a force field. So if anything does happen, and it was not there or with her when she's by herself, the force field will activate if anyone's trying to attack her or trying to go for the kill or anything. And she also was given a teleportation where she can just teleport wherever she wants. And that's pretty much it. Now, this is where Deku is done modifying them, and he pretty much leaves them in the chamber so it can fully, develop all of them. Now, this is where Junku comes with Deku, tugging his little his robe thing, and Deku looks at her and says, "Oh, hey Junku, what are you doing here?" Which this is where Junku, and she's pretty much flying up to Deku saying, um, Kanchan. Yeah, she calls him Brother Kanchan. She says, "Brother Kanchan, you forgot to play with me today." Which Deku says, "Oh yeah, I forgot. I'm sorry, Junku." Which this is where he pretty much takes Junku, and they go out and go play for a while, which Deku promised her. Now, this is where after the thing is done, which it takes I say a hot good hour, 2 hours, Deku comes back, and this is where Junku sees the kids coming out the thing, and the aliens, the outfits are all ready for them, and they pretty much get ready, put on the outfits, put on their lab rats training outfit, and this is where Deku says, "Good morning, well, uh, how's everybody's feeling?" Which this is where Sonic pretty much, this is where Sonic is pretty much looking around, saying, I feel different, a little, which Deku says, "Try running around." Which Sonic at first is hesitating, saying he kind of doesn't want to break his bone, which Deku says he promised his bones won't break, which this is where Sonic started running. And this is where, as he's running, he can control his speed. And he can also stop wherever he want to go, and he can move left and right without really breaking his bones, and he can stop wherever he wants to stop, which he feels incredible and really happy and much better. This is where Johnny, he wakes up. Well, this is where Johnny tests out his quirk. He grabs like a throwing thing. And I'm just gonna say Deku has like these non-lethal weapons, and he pretty much look at the bullseye, which he tells Johnny to throw at the bullseye. Which this is where Johnny throws it, and his accuracy is on point. It hits straight at the red dot. All his throws, perfect hit. it's out of the park. Or should I say, it's out of the park. Pretty much like that. With Daisy, she uses her super strength and she gets more intelligent. And this is where she is pretty much Deku asks her a hard, difficult math question and she answered it perfectly well. And this is where Deku wanted to see how far it goes, and he asks her a question, "What's the square root of pi?" Which this is where Daisy says it and answer it right. Which this is where Deku's saying, "Okay, okay." Now this is where Sunshine, she's afraid to open up her eyes because she doesn't know if she's going to let a laser beam loose, a massive laser beam loose or not. Which this is where Deku walks to Daisy and takes a knee and says, "It's okay to open your eyes. You won't hurt me." Which is where Daisy is saying, "But what if it didn't work?" Which Deku is pretty much calming her down, saying, "It's okay. It won't activate. You can control it now." Which this is where Deku tells her to open her eyes, which she does. And I mean, no, Sunshine. Yeah, Sunshine. My bad, not Daisy, but Sunshine. When she opens her eyes, um, nothing happens, and she realized that she can see again without using shades and stuff. And Deku says that she can still use her quirk, but she just have to focus a little bit and aim at that far away target. Which, when he says now try it, she pretty much focused and she shoots a straight laser beam at the target, and it pretty much hits it. It blows up. Well, no, not blows up, but hits it right at the time. Well, you could say it blows up, but she can control the explosion. Which, if it explodes or not. Which Deku is saying, "You see?" Which she begins to start crying and hugs Deku and thanking him. This is where Johnny, Daisy, Sonic, Sunshine, and Nurse Joy. Now, Nurse Joy, she pretty much is happy for the kids, and they're pretty much running for her, running towards her, saying they can use that quirk and stuff, and they can become heroes that they wanted to be. Which Deku smiles and says, so they won't be heroes. I think they can be the next evolution of heroes." Which this is where Nurse Joy is happy for them and pretty much sharing a tear. This is where Nurse Joy looks at Deku and whispers thank you, which Deku says, "Yeah, it's no problem." Now, this is where Deku says that he has to go, but he pretty much tells Nurse Joy that she has full access. He gives him he gives her second command, so she has full access to have the kids leave the shift and stuff. But she's gonna have to keep supervised because these kids, including her, is a new evolution of humans. So they can't be really using their powers left and right like that. They have to kind of lay low until he announced them, which the kids understand and the nurse understand, and they pretty much you know can leave the ship wherever they want. They're free, but they can't be using their quirks like that because, like I said, they're a new evolution of humans. Now, this is where Deku heads home, and this is where we can start the final parts of school. The final parts of school. Now, I explained to you right now, Deku was an extremely intelligent person, so he was doing his homework while not being in school. So Inko wasn't really worried about where's Deku at and why is his grades failing because Deku was doing his work. And I should say he also made a clone of himself, but not as just as him, but just as a regular human version of himself, which Bakugo knows that it's a clone Deku, which Deku told him, but just treat him as a regular Deku. This is where Deku would switch with the clone Deku, and the clone Deku would pretty much just go back to the ship. Well, yeah, we'll go back to the ship, which will teleport, and Deku would just go back to school for the last day. Now, this is where Bakugo says, "Oh, Deku, you're finally back from the ship." Which Deku says, "Yeah." Which they sit down and start talking. This is where they're doing their regular thing in class. This is where we get to the, everybody wants to become a hero part. And then, all that. Now, I know in the original canon, Bakugo would say, "Oh, yeah, y'all losers can't be heroes because y'all don't have acceptable quirks." This time, Bakugo don't say nothing like that. He just says, "I hope everybody has the potential to become a hero because I'm gonna want to become a hero as well." Which this is where everybody do like Bakugo. They don't see him as a bully because Bakugo kind of had a change of mind. He didn't really, since he has the quirk to become the best, has since he's modified into a new, like he's, you could say, a first chosen. So he pretty much takes that title pretty high. So he doesn't look at humans as pests or none of that. He looks at them as like, hey, since I'm strong enough to protect whoever I want to protect, uh I'm going to be like, he's kind of like All Might. His personality is like All Might, but not like 100% All Might. It's still Bakugo, but not as like, oh, what you say to me, you little shit, and all that. It's more like, yeah, yeah, whatever, and you know, all that stuff. But more of supportive. But this is where um, the teacher looks at the paper, and it's a lot of participants who signed it. But the main two noticeable one is Bakugo and Deku, who signed first, which the kids are looking at them and they're saying, yeah, they're definitely going to get in there, especially Deku. Deku is extremely intelligent. He's like the top intelligent out of all of us. He's so, I heard that it did, the kids are whispering saying, I heard that he got a recommendation in the top the top colleges. Also heard in reputation he builds the top revolutionary weapons and technology. Which, the girls are whispering, giggling, and also the guys. And they talk about Bakugo too. They heard Bakugo is like also different and seen. And one of the kids said they seen Bakugo at one point jumping over a building. So they said that he's definitely going to be in there. Which Deku hears about it, but he's not too concerned about it. Now this is where pretty much um, Bakugo and Deku is leaving, and they're walking together and they're talking. This is where Deku informs Bakugo that he has some new apprentices that Bakugo is going to train them, but he also has to train himself to get stronger as well. But Deku do ask Bakugo, will he be an apprentice to train these kids, because they're kind of like the second Legion right after him, since he's like the main gun, which at first Bakugo is shocked, but he accepts because he says, what the hell not? He can make some little soldiers. Which this is where, or Bakugo said he can have some little henchmen to work for him, which Deku says, that sounds like what a villain would say, which Bakugo says, hey, I'm not no villain, damn it, which Deku says he knows, and they start laughing. As they're walking, this is where the sludge villain is attacked, and since Deku has has that quirk to see in the future as well, the enhanced quirk, just like the girl, he already knows the sludge villain is going to attack. He never forget what. This is where the sludge villain is attacking, and this is where he aims for Deku, and he wraps around Deku, saying, "Sorry, kid, but this body's mine." Which this is where Deku says, "Foolish, separate." Which this is where the sludge villain say, "What?" And the sludge villain just gets sliced and separated and off Deku, which the sludge villain is now separated and off Deku, but now floating in two separate balls. Which the sludge villain doesn't know what the hell's going on and saying, "Hey kid, let me go." Which Deku's saying, "No, I I heard about you. You're that villain who kills people and trying to. You're that villain who lost his ability to control his quirk, and now you're trying to take people's body and have it for yourself, right?" Which the subject is saying, how do you know that? Which this is where Deku says, I can fix that quirk if you turn yourself in and be a better person. Which at first the subject is saying, what are you talking about? Which Deku says, for instance, let me do it right now. Which this is where Deku snaps his finger and he fixed the Sludge Villain's quirk. Now this is where the Sludge Villain's like quirk manifests and it fixes itself. And this is where the Sludge Villain gets his body back. Now this is where he falls to the ground and he looks at his body and he realizes he's back to his original self. Before his quirk, upgraded and made him into a slob, and he couldn't, slime, and he couldn't come back to human. This is where the Sutherland is like saying, I'm back. Which this is where Deku walks up to him and asks him again. Now I ask you one more time: will you change your ways, or will you go back to being that villain sludge? Which the villain pretty much says, I give up of being a villain. I wanted to live a normal life anyways. Which this is where Deku smiles and says, okay, well, All Might's gonna be coming in, so you better turn yourself in. Which this is where Deku also give him like something to cover himself up. like a blanket, which he teleport and wraps it around him. This is where All Might comes and says, "I am here," and he says, "What is going on here?" Which is where Deku explains to All Might that he already took care of the sludge villain, and he pretty much fixed his quirk and gave him a second chance at life instead of just being capped away. Which the sludge villain says, "Hello, I'm the sludge villain that you was chased after," which All Might realized that he's not lying. His quirk is fixed and he's back to human. Which this is where Deku says that he's not going to be doing crimes anymore, but he did agree to surrender himself. Which All Might says, "Oh, okay," and All Might pretty much just grabs the sludge villain guy, and he pretty much asks Deku what's his name, which uh, Deku pretty much explains his name as Mizuki Midoriya, which or we're going to say Deku, which All Might is impressed, saying, "Oh, Deku, I heard about you, a well-known, intelligent one." Which Deku says, "Oh, you heard about me, All Might?" Which he says, "Yeah, I heard a lot about you." Which All Might says, "And who you might be?" Which Bakugo is a fan of All Might as well, saying, "My name is Bakugo, sir." Which he says, "Ah, young Bakugo." Which pretty much All Might is suppressed. Which this is where Deku asks for an autograph from All Might for Bakugo, which All Might gives two autographs to Deku and to Bakugo, and they're both excited. Well, Deku is happy, and Bakugo's excited about it. Before All Might can go, Deku whispered to All Might, saying, "I know about that injury you have that you're hiding. I also know you're having a struggle." Which All Might is shocked and saying, "What? How do you know?" Which Deku says, I'll talk to you later when we have the time. We'll be seeing each other real soon." Which Deku will be smiling and says, "Goodbye, All Might." Which All Might has a sway that says, "Goodbye, young Midoriya." And he jumps away with the sludge villain. Now, after that, Bakugo asks, "What was that?" And Deku is an honest person in Bakugo. He pretty much treats him as a comrade, ally, brother in arms. And he tells him that All Might has an injury in his side stomach, and he been hiding it from the public from a very long time. Which Deku says, which Bakugo says, "That's impossible. He has an injury." Which this is where Deku explains to him and says, "Think about it, Bakugo. Why does All Might only comes every now and again? He used to, back in the day when we was young little kids, he used to be coming around 24/7 at all stops, stopping crime in anywhere. But now he only does it 2 times a week. At first he only did it a month. Now he been doing it 2 times a week, and not even months now. Regularly he comes in every now and again. You and Bakugo begins to say, yeah, because he's getting older." Which Deku explains to him, "No, it's not because he's getting older. All Might is nearly damn well looking like a damn well almost not even past his prime yet. It's because of that injury, and it debuffs him every time." Which which Bakugo is understanding, and Deku just tells him, "When the time comes, you will be coming with me to see what I'm talking about." Now, this is where they go home, and since Inko house is complete, Deku goes to his house, and Bakugo comes in with him. This is where Inko says, "Oh, hey dear," or yeah, "Hey dear," or "Hey son, come sit. The food is almost ready." Which Deku says, "All right." Which he sit down, and Bakugo says, "Hey, Mrs. Mizuko," which Mizuko says, "Oh, hello, Bakugo. Please have a seat as well." Which they sit down. Uh, yeah, they sit down and they pretty much have to eat. Now, after that, this is where we have the 2 weeks training, and this is where Bakugo and Deku will go to the beach. And this is where they go to the beach and they will take the kids as well. Now, Junku is pretty much sitting down, pretty much having a shake, while the other kids are out on the beach just ready to get trained by Bakugo. Which Bakugo says, "All right, you maggots, today y'all about to be getting some training, and y'all gonna be getting stronger in muscle to become one-day heroes." Which the kids are impressed, saying, "Oh wow, really? Like, I do my best." Which the kids are excited. And the nurse is like sitting on the sidelines at the beach as well, pretty excited. And this is where Deku is pretty much there as well, just watching, smiling. And this is where they get started. Now, this is where they pretty much start picking up the trash at the beach, and the kids are like picking up trash one by one. Daisy has no problem doing it because she has a muscle. I mean, a hand strength where she can enhance her strength 10 foot, well, 200, and she's lifting it up. Now you're breaking a sweat, and but for the other kids, they're lifting it up, having a little problem, but it's never too hurt. If they do get hurt, Nurse Joy will come in, heal them up, and they can continue training. It restores Daisy's stamina and strength, so they're pretty much training. Now, it takes about the first week to get half the trash, well, almost trash up, and the kids are really developing and stronger, including Sonic with the lifting up as well. Now, this is where, let's say we get to next week, and this is where All Might is at the beach as well, and he's still trying to figure out who he will find as next successor. And this is where he looks at the beach and sees that Deku and kids and Bakugo and this nurse there, this lady there, and these kids they're pretty much picking up the trash and cleaning up. This is where All Might says hello there, which the kids see All Might says, "Oh my God, it's All Might, All Might." All the kids are freaking out, being excited, running to him and stuff. Which he's saying, "Ah, hello, kids." Which Deku says, "Well, hello, All Might. Shall we continue where we left off?" Which All Might says, "So, how do you know how I have that injury?" Which Deku says, "Let's talk something private on the ship." Which this is where which Deku tells Nurse to watch the kids at the beach and watch them make sure they continue doing their training. Which Junko, she pretty much sneakily trying to go with Deku, which Deku says, "Stay over here and watch over the kids. Watch over your family." Which she says, "All right." Which she's a little sad, but she says, "All right," and watch over them. This is where All Might have the ship come. The ship comes in. The aliens, one of the pilot is pretty much looking at All Might, which All Might is pretty much astounded that these are alien life forms, which Deku pretty much says, "All right, let's get on the ship," and they pretty much head to the big mothership. Now, this is where they head to the big mothership, and Deku explains that he knows about the injury for some town, for some quite time that he been injured, and he pretty much lifts up All Might shirt saying, "I know that this injury was done by All for One," which All Might asks him one more time, how does he know? Which Deku says that he'd been hacking into databases and receiving a lot of information in top secret files. He found this out when he was quite young, a little bit younger, a while back. Which All Might is amazed and saying, "So, what do you want, Mizuku?" Which Deku says, "I don't want nothing. All I want is just to see what is your quirk about, and also to heal your wound." Which All Might at first saying that it can't be retreatable. All the doctors around the world can't even treat this wound. Which Deku says, "Yeah, because they didn't have the right medicine and technology to repair it. I have the technology to do it." Which this is where Deku says, "I can repair your thing. In exchange, you tell me about this quirk you have that you can pass down." Which All Might says, "All right," and they make a deal about it. Now this is where Deku puts All Might on the testing medical thing, and this is where Deku pretty much knocks out All Might and says, "Well, it's time to proceed the operation." Now this is where Bakugo is seeing this, and he's watching Deku perform the surgery to pretty much fix All Might. Now the room at first Deku begins to hit All Might with these substances, which is relax. It will relax his body, his muscles and stuff. I pretty much you know have him all like not pressured up or anything. This is where All Might would deform and the scar, appear. Now this is where Deku begins to cauterize, uh, remove it, and he begins to heal the muscles. He injects All Might with another serum that start repairing the cells in All Might's body because he carved out the wound that All For One did from him, and it started healing up. And he inject him with a acceleration to repair the cells and skin, and it begins to repair itself and pretty much repair the wound and makes it seem like that it wasn't even there to begin with. Now, after that, this is where Deku says the operation was a success. Now, we just have to wait. Now, give it a couple minutes, like 1 minute, not 2 minutes pass. All Might wakes back up. And he pretty much wakes up and he doesn't feel he looks up from his shirt and he doesn't see it there no more. This is where Deku tells All Might to try to use his All Might form again, which All Might does it, and he realized that he can stay in this form, and it won't really take nothing out of him. And he realized that he's back again, and he looks at Deku saying, "You just healed me," which Deku says, "Yeah, I know. Now, can you explain to me what is your quirk?" That was our deal, right? Which All Might says, huh, "All right, young Midoriya, I'll explain to you my quirk." Which this is where All Might explains to it, but this is where All Might's thinking, saying maybe he can have Midoriya as all for one successor. I mean, one for all. Yeah, all for one successor. All for one, yeah. Or is it the one for all special? I forgot how to say it, but yeah, they have the to the quirk, right? One for all. Yeah, it's one for all quirk. Basically, yeah, he pretty much explains the quirk and stuff, which Deku says, "Huh, I see." Which this is where All Might pretty much asks Deku would he like to be the successor, which Bakugo is there too, and Bakugo is a little bit upset that he's not going to be the successor, but Deku says, "No, I don't need to be the successor. I already have your genetics, so I already have your quirk." Which All Might says, "You do? How?" Which Deku says, "I have this unique sub quirk where whatever I see a quirk or see see who's using the quirk, I can analyze it and copy it. So I have your quirk. But Deku should become your new successor because he really is a more capable more hero than me. That that can see more of the capabilities of being a hero." Which Baku is saying, "Deku, are you serious?" Which Deku says, "Yeah, you're more capable of having the quirk than me. Even though I have the quirk, but you be the perfect next successor for all four. I mean, one for all. What? All for all? Yeah, or no, the all for one. And Deku, decided which Baku, which All Might says, "All right," and Baku's, "Thank you, Deku," which Deku says, "Nah." Now this is where pretty much Deku be given the quirk, and All Might pretty much would join in on the beach to train Bakugo to understand the quirk. Now this is where everybody's training, except for the nurse and Junku, which All Might is trying to learn more about the kids. Which this is where Deku explains that he adopted these kids, and also you could say paid the nurse to pretty much come with them, and they're pretty much like the new advanced human. They're a new evolution of humans that he created. Which All Might saying, "So you experimented on them?" Which Deku says, of course with their agreement, if they wanted to. Which the kids are defending Deku, saying, "Yeah, he's the one who fixed our quirks and made us better. He's the one who also gave us a second chance to become heroes." Which All Might understands that these kids really care for Deku, and Deku really did something good for them. And All Might smiles and says, of course, he's a good guy." Which the kids are saying, "Hmm," which they're smiling. Which this is where everybody's training except for the nurse and Junko because they don't need to because they're powerful enough. Now, this is where after the 2 weeks are in, the bleach is all cleaned up. The kids are tired. Well, a little bit tired, but they're excited because they see the beautiful view, which All Might sees it too. And this is where I say All Might says, "Oh my goodness," and he pretty much is like smiling and saying, "Well done, kids. Well done, Bakugo." Which everybody's saying. Which Bakugo is smiling. Which this is where Deku says, "Let's everybody do their best for the future." Which everybody says, "Yeah." Now after that, this is where pretty much um the entrance exam. We're gonna start the entrance exam, and then that's pretty much going to be for part 2, okay? But let's get to the entrance exam. This is where Deku wakes up the next day. Bakugo and Deku start walking together to the entrance exam, and as they're walking, this is where Uraraka will do the same thing. Ken fall, almost fall. This is where Deku will catch Uraraka, and with his telekinesis asks, "Hey, are you okay?" Which she's realized that she's floating without her quirk, without her using her quirk, and Deku says, "Are you okay?" Which she says, "Yeah." Which Deku put her back down, says, "Sorry about that. I just saw you almost about to fall." Which Uraraka says, "Nah, it's fine." And Deku says, "Well, I'll be seeing you then." Which she says, "Yeah." And she said, "Oh, wait, what is your?" But Deku's already gone with Bakugo. Later, this is where they're heading aside, and Bakugo says, "Do you like her?" Which Deku looks at Bakugo and says, "No, do you like her?" Which Bakugo says, "Well, she's alright." Which this is where Deku says, interesting, okay." And Bakugo says, "Wait, what does that mean?" Which he says, "Ha ha ha," and he walks away. Which Bakugo said, "Hey, what does that mean?" Which which this is where Bakugo is trying to figure out what does that mean, and Deku's not saying. Now after that, this is where everything else happened. The IQ thing, Deku passes that with ease. Bakugo, he passes it, but he's not like super intelligent, but he is smart. He's not dumb, but he is smart. Not smart, but he's smart. And with everything else, they pass with these, including Bakugo. This is where we get to the robots test of the points. Now this is where, as they're waiting for the instructor to start, this is where Deku says a hero doesn't need to really need to hear the mark, which Bakugo understands what Deku talking about, and they bolts straight to go and destroy the robots. Now this is where All Might is there looking at Bakugo and Deku to see how would they do. Now this is where Bakugo is using the quirk, All for One, and using All for One quirk, and he's pretty much just using it with the explosion. He already learned how to merge them together, so he's like using his accuracy, hitting the robots, destroying a good amount of robots. Deku, he's not pretty much doing anything. He's pretty much walking, and every time a robot trying to get close to him or he looks at him, they just get crushed out of nowhere, just crushed straight down. Which the teachers are saying, "What is his quirk? Is his quirk like gravity manipulation? Like, what is it?" Which All Might is like oppressed too and trying to figure out what is his quirk. Does he have gravity manipulation? Like, what is his quirk? Because he also remembered that Deku says he has his quirk as well. So All Might saying, "Is this my quirk merged together? Like my quirk merged together with something else, with another quirk?" He kind of reminds you like him. Uh, and he's basically talking about All for One. If y'all don't know what is going on, but pretty much this is where pretty much Deku is just walking, and the robots are just getting crushed. Now this is where Deku thinks he destroys. Well, this is where Deku is just pretty much just chilling, not doing anything, and all that. And this is where pretty much this airport robot comes in and everybody's getting scared and running away. Now Deku is pretty much just chilling, and this is where he looks and says, "Huh, that's the airport robot? Man, this is not really. I already have enough points. I don't think I need to fight this robot." But this is where Uraraka is screaming for help, and this is where Deku and Bakugo notice that she's screaming for help, and they both start heading to it. This is where Bakugo jumps straight high up using his boot jump without using the off one jump to break his legs or anything. Well, it wouldn't really break his. Well, it would, but I say this. I explain it. So basically, Bakugo basically uses the one for all quirk and uses his super jump and jump incredibly far to get to the robot because he was far from it. This is where pretty much he does break break his legs, but as he break them, they're regenerating at the same time. So the bones are refixing itself and healing up and becoming stronger. So Bakugo jumps, breaks his leg, and he's like, "Damn it!" But he feels them healing, and he says it's alright. And this is where he pretty much does the jump and the punch like Deku, but he does something different. He uses the one for all quirk and the explosion, and he pretty much punches Zero robot and create an explosion, which blows off the Zero robot heads off. And this is where Deku pretty much, before the Zero robot can fall on Uraka, Deku pretty much lifts his hand out and says, "Now get crushed." And he pretty much closes his hand, and the Zero robot get flattened instantly. Well, no, get crushed all the way into a circular ball. And he pretty much have the ball come to him, and he just crush it and says, "Huh, that was easy. Good teamwork." Which Bucko falls to the ground as his legs is almost done healing. And he lifts up his thumb saying, "Yeah." Now, after that, pretty much the nurse comes and check up on everybody to see if everybody's alright, and check up on Uraka. This is where the nurse heals Uraka, in which Uraka thanks Bakugo and Deku for saving her life, which Bakugo is saying, it was nothing, which Deku says, no problem. And they pretty much go on their way. This is where Uraka asks what was their name, which Deku says, my name is Mizuki Midoriya, and this is Bakugo, aka the new hero, the new number one hero for future, which Bakugo is like smiling a little bit, but Flabbergasted is saying, stop saying that, I haven't even reached the full potential yet, which Deku says, yeah, I know you like that title, which they begin to go. Now, this is part one, not part one, I'm sorry guys, this is part two of What If Deku Was an Eldar from XCOM. If you like, leave like, comment, let's get this up to 20 likes, support, get this up to 20 likes or 15, well, no, 20 likes or 25. And so 20 likes will be another part, 25 will be 2 videos at once, okay? But I'm Keyshawn Chia, thanks for watching, and peace out. And oh, don't forget, I'm about to be broadcasting after this video, so yeah, peace out.